Hi, this is Rick Wilson. Welcome to Dragonproof. You know, one of the things that's not discussed nearly as often as I think it should be in and around the world of business is the sobering reality of business failure. The fact of the matter is, a long-standing adage is that look around at all the businesses you see, and 5 years from now, 95% of them will be gone. I don't think it's an exact number. There's also stats in the world of e-commerce that suggest only 20% of e-commerce businesses succeed. Success failure is also marked by a timeline, so that's hard to answer. You know, I would argue that Sears was a success, even though they no longer exist. But success and failure are a critical part of the entrepreneurial journey. And I know for me, back in the mid 2000s, I spent some time trying to launch a new business, and I put about a year of my life into it, and ultimately it failed to launch due to a lack of proper market research. We were going to launch a product, a multimedia technology product aimed at the high school sports industry. And that's certainly a fragmented industry. It's kind of obscure and strange, but I like obscure and strange. I think they're great ways to build a business. The old adage of grow rich in a niche. But after months and months, almost a year of work and product development and research, and a bunch of studying to see what was in the market and coming up empty, right before launch, we found that we had a competitor that we did not know about who did almost the exact same thing. And we decided that it wasn't worth going up that hill. So, you know, failures properly viewed can produce strategy, sea changes, differences in thinking, and they can help you figure out what your next step is. And today we're going to dive into the story of a business that's fully embraced shopping and product experiences that are valuable and long-lasting. In fact, they have beaten the odds across the board. And so today, welcome Andy Brabec, Marketing and E-commerce Director for Borsheims. Borsheims is a luxury jewelry brand with a 150-year history and a storied and historic physical store in Omaha, Nebraska. And they're now an online leader as well. So Andy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Rick. Pleasure to be on. It's good to see you again. Good to connect with you.
Thanks. Yeah, it's been. I usually see you for steak in Chicago every June, and now we're going on 2 years. So
steak or deep dish or drinks. Yeah,
yep.
It's been some time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Internet Retailer, now Retail X, returns from this. I don't know yet, but I'm sure we will be back in physical. We're planning on MevaCon 2022 as far as a physical one goes, and I have a feeling we'll be back on the road next year. But Andy, let's walk through the first time you walked into the flagship Borsheims store in Regency Parkway in Omaha. Tell me about that.
Absolutely. So Borsheims is a really magical place. We say all the time that we are in the special moment and emotions business. We really are a destination store. I won't be able to really do it justice in my description here, but I'm going to try anyway. From the moment you walk in through the large glass atrium and through our entry, we're trying to create that experience, right? We've got scent marketing, music, approachable and knowledgeable sales staff. You know, our showroom is approximately, 20,000 square feet, which is about the size of half a football field. So goal line to the 42-yard line, sideline to sideline is that space. Now it's not a rectangle. It's broken up a little bit, but it makes us one of the largest independent jewelry stores in America. The store is very open. There's clean lines, light colored walls, white marble floors, and that marble walkway guides you through our bridal engagement departments all the way back to our luxury showroom, which includes some of the most rare and unique jewelry items you can find. And from there, you can stroll down designer jewelry, which includes Marco Bichigo, Roberto Coin, and others. We have stops for gold jewelry, diamond jewelry sections, before getting to our watch corner, where we boast 20 of the top watch brands you can buy: JLC, TAG, Omega, Breitling, Cartier. We also have a watchmaker on staff that's able to assist with those services, but last but not least, we have another section of the store that's dedicated to bridal registry and home decor that includes artisans like Simon Pierce, and Michael Aram, Baccarat, Mackenzie Childs, and Waterford, to name a few.
Well, I'm definitely a watch guy. So one of these days I'll actually get to Omaha and come see the watch section. You guys are one of the largest independent jewelry stores out there, but you also have even though with your 150-year history, it started long before a very famous investor, but you guys are part of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's famous company. I had been familiar with the company as the place that the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders all went to during the annual shareholder meeting. That the what do they call it? The Disneyland of capitalism, or some.
Woodstock.
Oh yeah, Woodstock of capitalism, and part of that Woodstock of capitalism is the Berkshire Hathaway shareholders going to Borsheims as part of the annual pilgrimage to see Warren and company. So obviously, with that storied history as part of Berkshire, there's an emotional attachment to both jewelry and to the famed story of anything Warren touches, and so let's start with why is jewelry so important to people?
Jewelry is so important to people because it conveys that emotion. And as I mentioned earlier, like we're in the emotions business, we're in the special moment business. So throughout last year, those special moments don't stop. Those birthdays, those anniversaries, engagements, just those special moments with getting promotion or or whatever those things may be. Those are the types of things that you can pass down for generations. And so that's we're in the motions business, and those things continued and accelerated actually throughout 2020.
Yeah, no, I mean that makes sense. I'm sure this is the story I'm about to share is almost cliche, but my father passed 4.5 years ago, and one of the things that I beelined to make sure stayed both with me and in the family was his wedding ring. Right now, it's a simple gold band. That it wasn't going to change anyone's fortunes, but that was not going to leave my side, and I think that's part of what you're describing. Now, did people's relationships with jewelry change at all during the pandemic?
They really didn't. I mean, we had to do some pivoting as far as how we were going to showcase that jewelry. There was a point in time in April and May where we had closed our flagship and only location here in Omaha, Nebraska, for approximately 2 months. So we had to think of new ways to get product in front of people, as we were talking earlier about. Those special moments don't stop. So with COVID in full swing, how can we get this product in front of customers? For a customer who's trying to find that perfect ring, to find that perfect diamond and get engaged, how do we safely get with that customer and be able to show them product, and we use digital means to do that in some cases. So some items were sight unseen, but that was the challenge, to kind of pivoting, FaceTime, Zoom meetings, those virtual appointments, over the phone, and just getting building that trust with that customer, that prospect.
Specifically, you guys take a visceral experience, even though I have not yet been to the showroom, but you guys take what's a notoriously visceral experience, and you have successfully translated it online. And so what are the different, so you just referenced some things I wasn't aware you were doing, FaceTime appointments or Zoom appointments, which, make a lot of sense. But I hadn't conceived of those. What other things have you been doing both pre-pandemic and then accelerating during the pandemic that helps bring the magic of Borsheims to the online experience?
Yeah, well, when we look at what defines our store, it really comes down to personal relationships, staff expertise, and our signature services. And I had mentioned a good part of our business has actually is being done, or was being done over the phone prior to COVID, because being part of Berkshire, our reach extends throughout the entire United States and also internationally. So that part of our business wasn't necessarily new. It accelerated, but we were using FaceTime appointments. It really came down to from a customer. We wanted to meet them where they wanted to meet us. What technology was in front of them? So we took advantage of the virtual appointments. I mentioned FaceTime and Zoom meetings. In some cases, we would have specific rooms set up here locally to have a very safe interaction to show product. And lastly, from a digital perspective, we had invested a few years ago in what we call our virtual showroom, which allows our sales team digitally to curate a basket or a showroom for a prospective customer, showcase the product we have in store and online, allow them to specially price items for them, allows them to make notes to that customer, and the customer is able to then interact back with the sales associate. They do this via text, they do this via email. The customer can interact via email or via text. And ultimately, it's a seamless digital experience because that customer could then make that purchase through Borsheims.com, through a back channel there, or a lot of times that will result in a phone sale too. Well, they'll just pick up the phone and they want to get this done right now and then, because as you know, one thing that was forced this year was people needed to get used to that internet channel, used to buying their groceries online, let alone jewelry. So some people just still aren't as comfortable, or weren't, at least at that time, putting their credentials in over the internet. They felt better about providing that over the phone because that's what they were used to. And now we're seeing more and more of that e-commerce or those internet sales because of it. But there was that sense of just kind of getting used to this new normal, which has really became the normal at this point.
I mean, what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you guys are fundamentally a luxury goods provider, right? And it's focused on jewelry and things like that. But you're a luxury goods provider, and even pre-COVID, you were solving a lot of those challenges with essentially a concierge-type sales experience. And then as someone who is a luxury goods buyer, I know that I expect concierge-type sales experience. And it sounds like that really, the fact that you guys treated technology not as a separate thing or a bolt-on, but just part of that experience, right? I should be able to text my sales rep, should be able to go to the portal. It is kind of ironic that it's likely almost always safer to type your credit card into the Borsheims website than it is to give it to someone over the phone. But that's neither here nor there. You guys really, with your embrace of technology and knowing full well that you're going to sell via concierge method, especially for your high-end stuff, that technology is really just a part of the playing field.
You're totally right on. And technology is allowed to scale our brand promise. I would say that it's a tool in the toolbox. But our business, the relationships matter, the personal experiences matter. We want to shock and awe our customers and prospective customers in a really great way. We want to make their experience so great that they want to continue to come back. And we have so many long-standing relationships with customers, so much repeat business because of our signature services here. But you're right. Yeah, technology is just a tool in our toolbox, and it really comes down to really doubling down still on customer service and in that customer experience.
Now, I would assume that in 2020 specifically, there was less physical weddings in person, although the Zoom weddings became a thing that no one had ever imagined, or generally gift-giving gatherings. Did that have any material impact on your business? Did it change the way you deliver product? Like, how did that look through the eyes of Borsheims?
Yeah, from our vantage point, I mean, anecdotally, yeah, it looks like there was a lot less weddings this year. But just even on our own team, we had several engagements. So I think people are still getting engaged. And they're still buying for those special moments. But the time periods for which when those special moments come, whether it's a wedding day or some other type of event, those are getting pushed back or done in a different way. Like you mentioned, the Zoom route, or a very, very small gathering of just maybe it's just bride and groom and it's some family. But as far as our engagements in bridal business goes, it was a very successful year.
No, so let's switch gears here for a second. Um, I want to go back to how you guys have digitized the visceral experience. So, I'm not necessarily a diamond guy myself. Like I said, I'm a watch guy, but I do, I appreciate fine jewelry, and I've certainly been wowed by display cases at a Tiffany or a Cartier. How do you capture the magic of a display case full of diamonds on a website?
Yeah, it's really tough, and it's something where we continue to be challenged with. To be honest with you, we're trying to take the best photography we possibly can at different angles. We're trying to incorporate more lifestyle imagery in what we're trying to do to provide scale. One thing that makes it easier from an online perspective, at least, is, and I guess it goes back to trust too, is we have a 90-day return policy on our jewelry product. So we stand behind it. So I think there's a little bit of there's more trust there. So it gives a customer more confidence to purchase, knowing they have 3 months to see if it works for them. But as far as we want to make sure we're being transparent, so images is a great way to show that product. Like you said, like those cases, being down on that sales floor, that experience is so difficult to replicate.
And I see why trust is the key there, right? I've bought a couple expensive watches in my life online, and you end up spending, you decide the watch you want, and then you spend a fair amount of time actually just making sure the person you're about to send a material amount of money to is gonna send you not just a watch, but the watch you bought. And so I would assume that the relationship you guys have with your customers facilitates that.
Well, Rick, to your point there, just on watches, we don't want you to just buy a watch on our website. We want you to buy the exact watch you need, and we want to make sure that when you get that watch, it's the exact size. We don't want to have you go somewhere else to
get links or whatever.
Yep. So it's about the details. It's the details.
And as someone who has a giant wrist, I can tell you I personally appreciate that. And then how is the success? I know one of the things, full disclosure to anyone listening, we don't always interview customers, but Andy and Borsheims happens to be a customer of Miva. How have you guys found success with the ring builder? Like the ability to, one thing I assume about the ring builder is that it gives people more choice than they can conceive of in a store. Why don't you tell our listeners what it is and how it works?
Yeah, so as Rick, as you mentioned, that we have a ring builder on our website, and what that does is allows a prospective customer to browse several different types of settings, diamond settings, with different metal types, in different styles, and pair those settings with the diamond of your choice. And we have several thousands of diamonds to choose from. You can sort from lab grown versus natural, pick your color, pick your clarity, pick your size, narrow those things down. All the details are there for you to make a decision, and then it builds it there.
Do customers embrace it? I mean, has that been a popular feature?
It's been incredibly embraced over time. It's our number one most used section on the website.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's great to hear.
Yeah, as far as like moving the business forward, and we talked about virtual showroom, ring builders right there, and it's only increased. We have the ability for you to email that to your personal shopper or your concierge. A lot of people just print it off and bring it in store. But we've also seen an increase in sales through that means online. People are feeling more and more confident in picking that item and building that item and checking out and then receiving it in a few days.
Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of this till we were just talking about it, but I equate it to I've gone through the process of picking the options I want in a car and then printing or saving that as a PDF, because then you can just go to whoever you're going to buy the car from, obviously usually the dealer, and be like, this is the car I want. And then you get rid of the confusion. I mean, it was yesterday, the silliest example. I was at a Jersey Mike's getting a sandwich, and I like Jersey Mike's, but most of the time I've had Jersey Mike's, I ordered on like Grubhub. And so I don't know that I'd ever actually been inside a store. And the woman was asking me questions about what I wanted in the sandwich, but she was using Jersey Mike's lingo. And I can't remember what she said. I think she said, do you want it full weight? And I was like, what the heck is full weight? Like I suddenly felt confused because I didn't understand sandwich lingo. But I think this helps things like a ring builder or a car builder or anything where it really provides the customer coming in with some knowledge and some strength that they can have a better experience. One of the things I was going to ask as well, is Borsheims kind of in line with the luxury jewelry industry as far as online sales? Are they ahead of the curve? Are they behind the curve? Kind of where do you guys see yourself, and where do you see, more importantly, the broader industry of luxury jewelry sales online?
There were many positive indicators with just jewelry in general last year. I think I saw quite a bit. I saw a few articles that were that everybody maintained, year over year sales and grew in cases. It's not at least when we look at independent jewelry stores, there's not a lot of information to turn to see
Sure.
what your competitive landscape looks like. So, we use the public data that's out there to kind of guide how we're doing as a business. We're feeling very, very positive about how we ended the year.
So let's talk about actually the practical side of how you guys managed 2020. So from what I understand, you guys had a strategic retreat right before COVID hit. I assume that was before even realizing COVID was going to impact your business. Is that true?
That is true. We jumped into 2020 feeling really, really good about how things were going to go. It was 150th year anniversary. We were at a strategic retreat where we're recapping all of our initiatives from the prior year and looking at new things for 2020. In jumping into then March, I guess we were probably as prepared as we possibly could have been. We had made some strategic growth bets over the course of the last 2 or 3 years in regards to, e-commerce growth and omni-channel retail, technology systems, ERP systems, shared inventory management. So we were feeling, as prepared as we possibly could have been going into, I guess, mid-March.
And then I'm assuming since COVID threw everything up in the air, how did you guys have to adjust plans? Did you find it helpful that just having the plans in place, even if you changed them, was a big part of preparedness?
Yeah, we had a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D for everything.
Oh, that's great.
When I look at that, like going into March, and really our biggest hurdle outside of the virus and the safety protocols and taking care of our business, our customers, our people, and making sure everybody is safe. Our biggest hurdle initially was that Berkshire Hathaway shareholder meeting, where we typically host close to 20,000 people in a 2-3 day weekend.
And I'm assuming that's the busiest the store gets, even busier than Christmas.
It is. It's that shareholder meeting is the Woodstock of capitalists, and so we have the ability to get in front of those shareholders for a week or two, but there's really a 3-day period where it's really scales high, and we talk about like rallying the troops. That was our first major landmine, where we had to gather everybody together and discuss how we were going to take this huge event where we have all these people in store and translate it to an online environment for the first time ever. We were really pleased with how that all turned out. But from a marketing and e-commerce standpoint, we used the digital tools that we had. We scaled heavily in performance marketing and to get that message out, especially also email, I should say. We made changes in store with growth with the amount of sales that we were doing. And we had to shift some people, right? We had fulfillment just blew. We just had so many more orders to fulfill. And
yeah, so I was gonna ask. When you're shipping high-end luxury goods, I'm assuming obviously insurance is going to be important no matter what. but shipping and returns and making sure the item that gets returned is the same item you shipped, et cetera, et cetera. Did those things stress you guys? Were you prepared? Both?
It kind of hit us by storm, especially that first week. The volume that we had seen was record levels online, just in a matter of a few days. But we're a pretty agile business, and our corporate offices are located right above our retail store. So we have people on our team that can jump in and help. If we need help on the fulfillment team, we can jump in and help do that. We need help in shipping, we can come over here and help do that. Boxing things up, getting things prepared, contacting customers. So as a group, as a company, we were able to shift and help out where we needed to help, which at that time was fulfillment shipping.
I mean, I would assume that the growth you guys had in 2020 is really a testament to the emotional connection your customers have with both the product line and Borsheims as well. Did your actual customer base grow, or was the same customers buying more things? What did you see around that?
Yeah, we have a lot of repeat business. We talked about trust is key. We've had a lot of established relationships, with our shareholders, with our customer base here locally, as well as throughout the United States. But it was also an opportunity to gain new customers through this internet channel. We saw a really big growth with new customers as well.
Was there more online interest in expensive items?
We did see our AOV go up.
You did?
We did, yeah. We had some specific categories, specific brands of items that we saw a tremendous growth in. But we were kind of forecasting that too. Reading, learning more about the customer voice and seeing kind of what the trends looked like for last year and honestly the previous year. We spent a lot of time executing on content and social and SEO for these types of things that allowed us to scale really quickly in a couple different categories. We're trying to do some big things, and honestly, Rick, that was a big part of this year too. I know we're talking about like what helped us move things forward is I'm part of an amazing team of the most goal-oriented, driven, competitive, and accountable people you can find. So, when our backs were against that proverbial wall, we found out, who we were, and I'm really happy what we found out. I mean, we've got a lot of great people here, not just on the team I'm a part of, but throughout the business. We really came together and shifted things around, and we came out good at the end.
Well, so that kind of leads me to the final section for today. So now you come into 2021. Obviously, it's cliche to call 2020 a hard year. I've taken to calling it a unique year. It is certainly, without question, the most unique year in my lifetime. I'm also hopeful that it stays the most unique year in my lifetime, but we'll see. But what are the new frontiers for Borsheims going forward? Is the core business going to continue leaning into digital? Talk to us about, how your learnings from last year translated into your 2021 plans.
Yeah, we are leaning heavy into digital. We feel like it's going to be a big part of our business going forward, and the business has good momentum there. Like I said, we had invested in digital channels, the website, and other technologies, over the past few years, and we were able to see the fruits of that labor really show in 2020, and we're going to continue moving forward that direction. At the end of the day, we're trying to meet our customers where they want to be met, and that's happening more and more on the internet, over the phone. If we want to be successful, we got to check all the boxes. Borsheims is still a destination, still quite the experience, and we still feel like we're going to have a solid footprint here at our flagship store, and that in-person experience will continue. But we'll just see larger growth through our digital channels.
And do you think 2020's sort of banner growth for you guys will be sustained on a go-forward basis?
I think what we had seen in previous years leading up to 2020, we had some large years of growth the prior 3 years coming into 2020. I think we'll see that type of growth now into 21, 22, 23. And I think we'll just continue to see that type of acceleration for the foreseeable future.
I mean, I guess the old slogan that diamonds are forever applies to your business as well.
It certainly will. People still value those special moments, and we're here to help them with that.
Well, for anyone listening out there, definitely check out Borsheims. And if you're in Omaha or near Omaha and you're back into going into physical retail, go see it. I know one of these days I expect to see the flagship store in person. I look forward to that. I also look forward to the next time we can get together for a meal at a conference or MevaCon. But thank you for taking the time today, Andy. It's been great to see you and talk to you. For those listeners, I can see Andy, but you can't. So thanks for joining us, Andy. Have a wonderful day and successful 2021.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure seeing and chatting with you again. Look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody.